My name is Amy Thistlethwaite, and I am an Associate Professor of Criminal Justice in the Department of Political Science, Criminal Justice, and Organizational Leadership. Criminal justice is one of the largest programs at NKU, and many people often wonder why it is housed with other social science disciplines. Criminal justice is very much an interdisciplinary field of study with origins in political science, psychology, sociology, social work, and even economics. While there are plenty of standalone criminal justice programs, it is more typical for criminal justice to be housed with other social or behavioral science disciplines. The origins of criminal justice can be traced back to the early schools of police science. As part of efforts to professionalize policing in the United States, August Vollmer, a police chief in Berkeley, California, created the first school of police science back in 1908. He wanted to educate and train new police recruits. Vollmer believed that an education was the most important asset for a police officer to have. His program grew and expanded to other cities, eventually becoming a 2- and then 4-year degree program. The early programs at Berkeley, University of Chicago, City College, New York, Michigan State, and Indiana University paved the way for criminal justice to become its own academic discipline. Another unique aspect to how criminal justice emerged as a discipline is the role of federal funding in promulgating criminal justice education. The Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act was passed back in the 1960s, which created the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration. This program designated tuition grants and money for research on the operations of all agencies within criminal justice: police, courts, and corrections. This marked the beginning of people conceptualizing the three entities of criminal justice as constituting a single criminal justice system. Criminal justice programs flourished as the demand for college-educated criminal justice personnel increased. To put something in perspective, back in 1960, there were 50 criminal justice programs in operation throughout the United States. Today, there are over 2,000, with 32 universities conferring doctoral degrees. Because criminal justice grew out of other social and behavioral science disciplines and continues to be interdisciplinary in nature, the knowledge base was created and continues to grow using the same principles of scientific inquiry that laid the foundation for other disciplines. Criminal justice researchers employ all different modes of observation, including experiments, surveys, ethnographic research, research using archival data, to describe a particular phenomenon of interest, to explain the why of something, and to evaluate the effectiveness of programs and policies. Police departments today employ crime mapping software to target hotspots or concentrated areas of criminal activity. This has resulted in more focused police patrol, which has greatly increased the efficiency of police activity. Policing has traditionally been reactive in the United States, where police officers spent most of their time engaged in preventive patrol. This was based on an assumption that by maintaining a police presence, the police could deter crime. This assumption was challenged with the Kansas City Preventive Patrol experiment conducted back in the 1970s. A team of researchers led by a social work professor divided the city of Kansas City into 3 geographical areas. In one of the areas, patrol was tripled. In a second area, all preventive patrol was removed, and in a third area, they kept the level of patrol the same. This served as the control group. Researchers realized that adding police presence to a community does not result in less crime. Taking away preventive patrol does not lead to an increase in crime. Not only were crime rates unchanged, but perceptions or levels of fear of crime also remained unchanged. People didn't even notice when they added more police officers, and nobody really paid attention when they took the police away. This is why policing today is more focused or proactive in nature. Much of what we know about police behavior came from sociologists who conducted observational studies of police-citizen interactions and political scientists who are interested in exploring police bureaucracies. Our understanding of courtroom work groups has also been influenced by the work of sociologists and political scientists. Sociologists are primarily interested in case outcomes or sentencing. Their studies are rooted in the labeling and conflict perspectives with an assumption that due process rights are more often violated for socially and economically disadvantaged defendants. This has led to the development and innovation of various guidelines in the court system to control the discretion that judges have over bail decisions and sentencing. Political scientists, on the other hand, are more interested in case processing and how defendants are treated differently across courtrooms. It is the political scientists who have dispelled many commonly held myths about how our court system operates. For example, that plea bargains result from actual negotiations between attorneys, and that our efforts to control the discretion of judges actually eliminates discretion from the court system. What tends to happen is that if you take discretion away from a judge, it is simply displaced to the prosecutors. Psychology and economics have contributed to our understanding of the correctional system. There are economic theories of murder which suggest that since many homicides are a calculated, deliberate act, that offenders are weighing the potential benefits of killing versus the consequences or costs. This has led to an assumption that we can deter homicide with the use of capital punishment. Correctional policymakers rely on cost-benefit analyses on the use of incarceration. While incarceration is very expensive, a cost-benefit analysis has shown that the expense is well worth it if you consider the cost of crime for all of those offenders who would not have gone to prison. Our understanding of the interaction between correctional officers and inmates can be traced back to the infamous Stanford prison experiment. A team of psychologists constructed a mock prison in the basement of Stanford University. They designed an experiment where college students were randomly assigned to play the role of inmates or guards, and then they recorded their interactions. Criminal justice is a dynamic and evolving field of study that continues to benefit from the contributions made by a variety of social and behavioral sciences. My department welcomes the opportunity to teach students more about how the criminal justice system functions and its role in our society.